breaking news this morning, and what was widely expected is now official. Manager Gennaro Gattuso and Italy have agreed to mutually terminate his contract after their failure to qualify for a third successive World Cup. An emotional Gattuso apologized for the defeat during his post-match news conference and admitted that it was hard to digest. He joins a growing list of top officials inside Italian soccer who have resigned, including Football Federation President Gabriele Gravina and Delegation Chief Gigi Buffon. To break all of this down, we bring in our Italian football correspondent, Francesco Porzio, who's had a couple of days now to digest everything that has happened with Italian football. And now the latest with Gattuso officially stepping down as the manager. What are your thoughts on this and really everything that we're seeing, all of the resignations that we've seen so far on the Italian Federation?
I mean, that's expected. It's something that we were expecting since the game on Tuesday, since the final. Gennaro Gattuso leaving, Gabriele Gravina, then also Gianluigi Buffon really anticipated that he was going to resign before, in case Italy didn't go to the World Cup. So I think what happened until now is really expected after the outcome of the failure of Italy. The question right now is what's going to happen next, and that's where I think we should focus. I mean, we were here talking about what Italian football is going through, the issues that we are facing right now, the lack of infrastructures, the lack of project, long-term vision. So the question is, who is going to take that kind of responsibility to make the decision in the future?
It's really an interesting talking point as to who would be replacing Gattuso. I know that a lot needs to happen in the foundation, Francesco, but Gattuso was a big impact in Italian football, of course, great history as a player. But who would be the right person, in your personal opinion, to be able to step into that role and maybe not only help the players, help the federation take a step in the right direction?
I will take it in the way around. I mean, I would say that the main decision that they have to take right now is about the president of the federation, because at the end, he's the one making the call for the manager. So I think right now we are facing two possibilities. The first one is that they're going through elections on June 22nd. That's the main one. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility of seeing also Italian politics, Italian government trying to have their say, because, you know, not qualifying for the World Cup for the third time in a row is also the face of Italy right now, the national team. So I think there is also a possibility to see here the government say, okay, we want to make the decision to who is going to be the head of the FA for the coming years. So let's see what's going to happen in the next days. The main candidate right now is Giovanni Malagò. He was the president of the Italian Olympic Committee. So he's someone that, of course, is inside also the politics, you know, that was really important. But talking about manager, which is, I think, probably the most interesting topic for you all here, I think we will need to wait a bit because the question is who is going to be available in the summer. We know that there is a manager like Carlo Ancelotti who is going to be the manager of Brazil in the summer for the World Cup, but maybe he can be a candidate for the summer. Then there is also other candidates such as Antonio Conte, Massimiliano Allegri, but they are both under contract with an Italian club right now. So it's really hard to understand right now who is going to be the manager. My take is that we shouldn't focus on the manager. We should focus more on other topics, because I don't want to see Italy appointing a very good manager that is going to do a really good job, and then we don't really cover the other topics. So I think we should try to find a person and also a group of people that are really interested right now to make those decisions, those long-term vision that we all want to see, we all know that it's needed.
To continue that, regardless of who is in the position of president or manager, we talked about that there needs to be a reformation of how Italian football handles, especially their youth system. We talked about the infrastructure for the youth system to continue to develop players from a young age, because that's really what we haven't seen from Italy and from the Italian Federation in quite some time. What do you want to see in the short term as far as the infrastructure and how they're continuing to rebuild Italian football?
I think something that it's really clear, you know, I was watching with you before the highlights of the championships, is the stadiums. Like, they have some incredible infrastructure there. And in Italy, I'm not even talking about the second league, I'm just talking about the Serie A. We are nowhere close that level. And I think that's something that is really, really important. And then I think, I don't know if a tournament like the Euros or a Club World Cup can be an event that can bring, the government together with the federation, say, okay, we need to make those kind of decisions in the short time. But that's something that definitely we need to cope with the difference with the other leagues. And then talking about the youth system, I think I was also speaking about that the other day after the elimination. We need to have more courage at the end, because we also have some players also in the under 21 that could easily, in my opinion, play in the national team, in the first national team. So I think it's a balance between courage but also making the decisions that, to be honest, we're not going to see those impact in the near future. So we need to be patient, and I know it's something that maybe the Italians don't want to hear right now, but that's what it is. The important stuff and that is that we make those decisions that will count in the future right now, because there is no real other possibility.
Yeah, well said. I think the strategy has to be 5-10 years down the line to be able to have success again. Now, I know you're a great supporter of this sport. You obviously have a lot of national pride, but so do many Italians. Now, we have seen it around the world, the reaction from many Italians venting their anger, frustration. But what's it actually been like in Italy this past few days? What's it like being with the media, the reaction, people on the street, people who work in stores that you come across? I can't imagine that this is a topic that has escaped. It's just been pushed out the door. I can only imagine everyone's talking about it, but no one quite knowing what the answer really is. What's the mood like?
I can tell you that it's the main topic here. I'm currently, it's Easter weekend, so it's vacation Italy, and I'm currently in my friend's place, with his family, and we will talking about Italy and what happened in the national team in the last day for like 24 hours, basically. So it's really a big topic for all of us. And for the media reaction, I would say that is the kind of media reaction we had 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 4 years ago. But then we're going to have Serie A back this weekend, which is also, of course, good to keep going with our routine. But then I'm kind of afraid that we also forget what happened. And that's something that, happened a lot in the last years. It also happened 8 years ago and 4 years ago, because then we start talking about, the referees issues, Inter title race, AC Milan against Napoli. And then we forget that the main issues are still there. And you could see them every week around the country, because you could see the infrastructure, you could see the young players not playing, you can see not so many Italians playing in important Serie A elite teams. So the issues are there, and you could see them easily. And the thing is, we only see them where we want to see them. Sadly, that's happening quite a lot recently, but we shouldn't forget them.
He is our Italian football correspondent, Francesco Porzio. Francesco, thanks so much for joining us here on Scoreline, my man.
Thank you.
We continue the conversation here just a bit. You see, you hear what he said about the stadiums, and that is a glaring issue.
Yes.
You're involved in executive training as far as running a football club, and you understand how that works. What a stadium means to a club when it comes to revenue, you really cannot replace that. And when Italian clubs don't have that, it's difficult for them to build from the bottom to play their younger players, because they're focusing on just winning. So they need to maybe skip some of those younger players, not give them that development early on in Serie A. And it's clearly affecting the Italian national team and Serie A itself.
Yeah, it was very interesting listening to Francesco talk there about the infrastructure not being in place, and also the excitement when he sees the Championship, for example, right. England's second division, full stadiums, new stadiums, families being welcomed and enjoying the environment. Unfortunately, when you have old stadiums, poor infrastructure, people don't want to go. Right. You have to give people a reason to turn up to watch games, first and foremost. Your domestic league is hugely important. Serie A plays a big role in the Italian national team. Stadiums have to be correct. Training facilities have to be correct. And to your point, youth academies all the way down have to be correct. The facilities have to be perfect so that you can welcome more and more people into the area, into the football club, with excitement, with joy. They're happy to be there. If you're going to an old facility with poor fields, with poor equipment, it's not good enough. That doesn't entice the best players to even want to stay there. Unfortunately, then you lose your best players. They want to go elsewhere. But the biggest problem has been probably the investment coming into Serie A. I think 60% of the players who are playing in Serie A are not Italian. That's a big problem. as far as I'm concerned. I was criticised pretty heavily for my opinion on foreigners playing in the league, and I was a foreigner playing in Germany when Germany went through Das Reboot, but at the same time, I saw exactly what they were trying to do. They wanted to make sure that all of the young players had an opportunity to learn from different countries, different nationalities, learn the language, but then also make it very German. And they did exactly that. If you look at the Italian infrastructure, it's nowhere near at the level it needs to be. It needs to come from funding, investment from all of the stakeholders who are involved in Serie A and who are involved in the Italian national team and their federation. Everyone needs to get involved in this. So I'm not surprised to see the change happening. One other thing I want to point out. Winning the Euros did not help Italy. No. They just kicked the can further down the road. They thought, all right, we'll be okay. We're competitive now in European football. We're European champions. It doesn't work like that. Roberto Baggio had a plan, a 900-page plan, right?
Yeah.
That was pushed to the side. Yeah. But that plan was a 20-year visionary plan. If you don't have strategies in place for the future, you will fail very quickly, and you'll find out. Eventually it will happen. Sometimes you can get lucky because of the quality you have. Italy did that in the Euros by winning it. Yep. But eventually it will bite you in the backside, and that's what's happening right now with Italian football. 3 consecutive World Cups with no Italy. I'm not even Italian, and I hate the fact that Italy are not going to be competing in North America. It should never happen. And that is, in my personal opinion, a political decision from the very, very top. Politics plays a role in this. Where's the money going? Where is the money going? Where's the investment going? It's not going to the stadiums. It's going in people's pockets, and that's what we've got to try and protect first and foremost. Put a strategy in place, let it be a 5 or 10 year plan, and you'll see very quickly that Italy will be back.